Hi there, and welcome into Main Street Living. I'm Danielle Alvari.
Hey guys, I'm Quincy Carr.
I'm Cheryl Nelson. Another fun week. Happy to be here, guys. And this time of year, I think, is perfect for road trips and camping with the leaves still changing across a good chunk of the country. It's so much fun to get out there and do that. Any of you guys have any camping stories or road trips?
Are you an actual camper? Because I am not.
Do you think I'm a camper? Do I look like I'm a glamper?
Yeah. Well, I know gas prices are lower, so if people wanted to drive around and do some tripping with some road tripping, I guess it would be feasible, right?
Yeah. If you want to call gas prices lower, I still think they're high, especially in California where you are, Danielle.
Ooh.
Yeah, maybe just stay a couple extra nights at the campsite. We don't need to be driving around once we get there is the good thing. You could just enjoy the nature, which is something that it's fun to do when you do these road trips. I remember I went to a lake that I've gone to my whole life with my family up in Northern California, and just about 90 minutes away from it, there's Bernie Falls, which is a very cool national park up there. Waterfall, it's gorgeous, and I just didn't even know it was right there. So just take another 90-minute drive, and there you get to see an entirely different beautiful part of nature.
That's
so you
a great
just never
show.
know.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's
Look at
something
that.
about being out in nature and seeing the environment. I love seeing the animals as well. When I drove across North Dakota, Theodore Roosevelt National Park, there were bison everywhere. So that was so fun to see.
Yeah, look at that as well. Well, you know, Cheryl, you're talking about animals. So today we got a great show ahead because we're talking about helping to fill homes with some furry family members, and we're also helping our military veterans for Veterans Day too.
That's right. And how one organization is managing the drought in the Southwest and the benefits of planting more native plants in your yard.
And if you are looking for some activities to do over the holidays, we will share some ideas for updating your home and also help you plan that next road trip right here on Main Street Living.
Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Now, Danielle, we already know about this. And to the viewers out there who've watched the show, we already know a common topic is Cheryl's car. And if my calculations are correct, Cheryl, you've driven the equivalent of 15 times around the earth. Wow.
Oh, Quincy. Wow. I can't believe you did some calculations on that. I've got 367,000 miles on my car. So, man, I guess I've been driving around the earth.
So as you can see, it is very important to have a reliable car, especially since we're going to be getting some tips from a couple of experienced road trippers here today. Please welcome to Main Street Living adventure travel photographers, Giselle and Steven. Thanks so much for joining us on Main Street.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
So you guys are essentially professional road trippers. How did you get started traveling together and trying to get others to do the same?
Well, growing up, I went on a bunch of camping trips, and Giselle loves to travel. So I feel like once we started dating, we just put the two together, and road trips were a great, easy way for us to start, especially with the pandemic.
Yeah, and when we first started dating, our first couple of dates were always revolved around adventure. And so our first was like a coffee date and then hiking. And then our third date was a road trip from Santa Barbara to Big Sur and back in one day. So we spent like 10 hours in the car together off the get-go and then kind of realized, oh, hey, we can do this together. And, you know, we're compatible and it's really fun for us.
That's the new third date standard.
Yeah.
I know that it'll certainly test your relationship too. You spend that much time together in the car.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I focus a lot on preparedness myself. So I think this is really cool what you guys are doing. What would you say are the top 5 things that you must take on every road trip?
Number one, I feel like is we always bring this little portable generator. It's called a Jackery. It's like been amazing. We charge our phones off it. We can charge all of our electronics that we use for our car. It has solar panels so we can recharge when we're at camp. It makes it super nice for us.
And especially since we're photographers, we have a lot of equipment with us. So it's been a game changer on like not having to go back in a location to go look for like a coffee shop to plug in at and recharge all of our batteries and our drones and things like that. So it's really nice because you can just be out on the road for a while without having to go back into town.
And it also powers our fridge, which I would say is probably number 2. We used to bring like an ice chest, but constantly trying to find ice is a total pain. So we actually bring like a mini fridge. You can open it up. It has a freezer side and a fridge side, so we can eat really healthy on the road. It saves us a ton of money rather than constantly looking for places to eat. So that's probably number 2.
Camp chairs, I think, would be the next one. We always like to bring 2 camp chairs with us. So whenever we're setting up camp, we just have a nice little spot to relax and lounge so that you're not constantly stuck in the car the whole time.
Yeah, I'd say the last 2 are kind of preventative. Like it's a little compressor that you can blow up your tires with, especially because we like to go off-roading on some dirt trails. Sometimes you're super, super bouncy and you don't want to do that. So when you can deflate your tires a little bit, makes the ride so much smoother. And then just a little portable jumper, so we never have to rely on anyone else. Just keeps us safe.
We've had a few scenarios where we've had a dead battery or 2. So like having those, if you're out road tripping and you're by yourself or you're in the middle of nowhere, that way you can actually like jump your car yourself. So that's a nice little extra safety measure that we always like to take.
Oh, wow. So smart.
All very good tips.
Yeah.
Yes. And well, I want to ask about this Jackery Solar Generator as well. How does it work? How do you charge it? How long do you have to charge it? How long does it last?
It usually lasts like 3 days with no charge, but anytime we camp or stop for a little bit, we'll just throw the generators on top of the car or throw them out to the side. And it usually charges pretty fast. It has 2 different solar panels, so it can charge like 120 milliamp hours incredibly fast just using the sun.
And then if you don't want to use the solar panels, you can just plug it in at home. We always charge it right before we leave for a road trip, make sure it's fully ready to go. So that way we can just rely on the solar when we're actually out on the road.
Great way to be prepared. This would come in handy too for tailgating for football games. I can already see myself doing that as well with the Jackery generator.
I keep one in my car almost always now, because whenever we go to events, someone's like, "Oh, do you have an extension cord?" Be like, "I got a Jackery."
Oh, I got something better. And road trips can be a less expensive way to travel. What are some other advantages to seeing the country by car? I put a lot of miles on my car, so give me a reason or 2 to keep going.
I think the biggest one for us is the flexibility you have. When you're going around in a car, you can, especially if you have the off-roading capabilities, we built out the back of Stevens 4Runner, so we can take it down dirt roads. We can, if we want to stay longer in a location, we can. It's not only that, but it's like budget friendly since you're not constantly having to go and check into hotels and things like that. So the flexibility is the biggest thing for me, at least why I love road tripping. And you can get to see a lot in a very short period of time. That's another thing. We started doing road trips when we were both working our 9-to-5 jobs, and we'd only go on the weekends from like Friday night to Sunday night and then go back to work on Monday. So being able to see so much in such a short period of time is a game changer if you're looking to travel.
Do you guys take turns driving?
He won't let me drive most of the time unless he's really tired. But I'm a passenger princess, as we say.
Yeah, she's a great
that's me as well,
because she can get lots of stuff done. I get too fidgety and I just get really bored. So I like driving and being able to, it gives me something to do.
Yeah.
Right. What are some of your favorite road trip destinations you 2 have been to?
I feel like our first one is always still super special. It's just like a Southwest road trip through the US, through like Utah, Arizona, Nevada. It's hard to go wrong there. And you can, especially right now going into the fall, it's like the perfect time to go.
And the nice thing about those locations, there's tons and tons of national parks that you can go to and state parks, lots of hidden gems, lots of car camping areas that are free to stay on too. So if you are looking to save some money while you're traveling, there's lots of free land in the Southwest where you can go and camp for free. So that's probably our top one. The other one we do all the time is a classic California road trip through the 395. So we'll start in like Los Angeles and drive all the way up to Lake Tahoe and back. And so there's lots of stops along the way. There's a really cool area called Alabama Hills, very popular old movie filming destination. We'll stop in Mammoth, Death Valley National Park, and then eventually get up to Lake Tahoe and Yosemite. So there's a lot of stuff you can cover in a week just by driving that.
Oh, it's great that you've got a designated driver for you too. We need
I
to
get to nap in between spots.
Yeah.
It's great.
Passenger princess.
Yeah.
You mentioned the fall, and I love autumn with all the changing leaves and the colors. And now is a great time in some parts of the country to still check out some of the fall foliage. So what's your advice for a spectacular fall road trip?
It depends where you are in the US. If you're on the West Coast, she was saying, straight up the 395 is amazing, but it's really hard to beat the East Coast fall colors. We just got back from Connecticut and Michigan, and we went to New Hampshire last year. And I would almost say just starting up in Maine and working your way down the coast, because the fall colors kind of change from north to south. So it's really, really beautiful to see for a road trip.
But the best tip I would say in terms of actually chasing the fall colors on a road trip is giving yourself room for spontaneity, because you can only track the leaves so well. So it's really hard to plan really far in advance when you're trying to do a fall road trip, because the leaves could change early one year, they could change late one year. So just that's the nice thing about road tripping, is you can be like, oh, the leaves aren't changing yet. Well, I'll just drive to the spot where it is. So that's the best part for fall colors, is you can just go. And that's what we've done the past 2 years, is doing a little road trip around the states, whether it's on the East Coast or the West Coast. Having the flexibility is definitely going to work in your favor if you're trying to get peak colors.
Ooh.
Well, I love that. Flexibility is a great answer for a lot of questions. How can viewers follow you two or get more information about the Jackery Solar Generators?
We talk about Jackery on basically everything, because it's completely changed the way we travel. So if you look on our YouTube, you can see us using it on our road trip guides. Instagram, we always are posting. We built out the back of our 4Runner, so we talk about how we camp in there and how we can road trip on a budget, especially because we both used to work full-time jobs. And then on TikTok, that's where we throw little fun pieces that we have about our Jackery, or just little adventures that we do on the weekends.
And then if you guys want to check out the Jackery model that we use, head on over to jackery.com. They have tons of different models based on your needs, and they're all amazing for any type of road trip.
Oh, you guys are so much fun, and they call me fun-sized, so you might find me inside one of your suitcases on road trips. So thank you so much for joining us. Lots of great info. We appreciate it.
Thank you so
Thanks
much
for having us.
Oh, Danielle, that was so much fun. I think I'm going to get you in my car, and we're going to go road tripping.
Oh, yeah, I'm all charged up.
Yeah, listen to you. We're charged up, ready to go. But first, how to make your yard thrive with native plants. We'll explain coming up next. Welcome back to Main Street Living. Quincy, Danielle, I think we can all agree that trees are beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But we are only just beginning to really understand trees and the ways they help to protect our environment.
That's true, Cheryl. In fact, having a thriving tree canopy in our cities is a great way to help keep temperatures down in the summer and keep the air cleaner all year long.
The folks at Baton Rouge Green in Louisiana are on a mission to green up their city and have some great advice for how to pick the right tree and let it thrive. Let's check it out.
Baton Rouge Green is a local nonprofit 501c3. We were formed in 1987 to help preserve our urban canopy and hopefully even grow it in some cases. We work with all kinds of partners across the community and the state actually to preserve and sustain our community trees and green spaces. Today, Baton Rouge Green is out at Clegg's Nursery on Segan Lane, and this is our annual tree spree event where we work together with the folks at Clegg's to bring out a whole host of species that we would really like to see people putting in their yards in Baton Rouge.
We really just want to have a conversation. That's the first thing we want to do, is facilitate a conversation with our customers and talk to them about getting a tree, the right tree in the right place for their needs. It's really important to get the right tree in the right place so that tree can make it to maturity. When a tree gets to maturity, that's when you start realizing the ecological benefits that that tree is providing for our environment in any urban environment. So a tree that only makes it 7 or 8 years isn't doing anyone any good. A tree that makes it 30, 40, 50, 100 years is what we're shooting for. And you want to minimize conflict, so that's really important to get the right tree in the right place.
Just so many native trees and things that people should be planting and knowing about planting things. It's just really important. And these people are really knowledgeable.
This is our one time a year where we get to help people one-on-one with what they have in their space, right? So we do a lot of work on roadsides and in schools and with businesses even on occasion, and work with the city and the state. But this is our homeowner interaction day where we get to come out and talk about and share our knowledge of native tree species, how to plant them, where to plant, talk about your particular landscape, your needs, and try to find something that's going to work.
I've definitely learned a better way to plant things from these events. You know, it used to be how I would dig a hole and how I would fill it back, and I killed a lot of plants until somebody said, well, you're not doing that right.
At this event, we try to recruit a lot of the smaller native species. It's pretty easy to find large native species at most commercial nurseries. But at this one, we try to give some alternate selections. Crepe myrtles are great, but sometimes people want a little bit of variety in their gardening and a little bit of variety in the urban canopy. So we'll bring in some mid-sized and smaller native trees, which are pretty hard to find.
Why this is so important, and just because we get to actually reach out to homeowners from our area and connect them with local growers, ideally. People who are growing the kind of species that we want to see more of, and they're growing them within 100 miles of this location.
We've been doing business in Baton Rouge for over 30 years. We just want to really encourage people to help maintain the urban canopy.
Oh, guys, it's such good information there. And it's really important, too, to have native trees and plants in your yard rather than invasive species, because they can really cause a lot of harm.
Yeah,
Good
I
to
don't know how
know.
much harm leaves can cause, but me having to rake those up gets on my nerves. But that's okay. You guys can find more about the great work being done in Baton Rouge at batonrougegreen.com.
Next up, what else grinds Quincy's gears? Just kidding. No, we're going to be helping shelter pets next. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back into Main Street Living. Now, when we started this show back in 2020, the whole world obviously was turned sideways. But one good thing that happened at the beginning of the pandemic was that pet shelters across the country were nearly empty. More people working from home, they were able to welcome more pets into their lives.
I know, that was so nice while it lasted. And sadly, though, that trend has turned around. Dr. Gary Weitzman with the San Diego Humane Society is here to tell us more. Welcome back to Main Street Living. Good to see you again.
Oh, you too. Thanks for having me.
As you know, I am a proud cat mom of 4 rescue cats. So I'm always about going to the shelters and helping rescue some of these animals in need. And we've been hearing that animal shelters across the country are filling up again. What is behind the surge in the number of animals needing homes?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We've been scratching our heads about that for a few months now. We're completely full here at San Diego Humane. We've got about 1,600 animals right now. And normally in the fall, we have about half of that or even fewer. But that's the case all over the country right now. And it's not about people returning their animals after the world kind of normalized with COVID. It's really about the fact that so many animals are coming in now because they're strays or there are litters of puppies and kittens happening because we weren't able to do the spay neutering that we would normally be able to do during COVID. To some extent, that's a fact. But I think right now it's really the fact that people got all the pets that they really needed during COVID. So we've lost a number of adopters. It's not like you can keep adopting dogs. You know, when you have, I think a good number is 8 or 9. You're really done. Well, for the normal family, 1 or 2, you're really done. So that's really the issue. We have animals coming in, but we don't have the same number of animals going out. Now, here's the real discrepancy that sometimes is misconstrued. We don't have more animals coming in any way than we used to have. We just have fewer animals leaving. So that's the problem.
Wow. And it seems like because of that, you guys also have this pretty cool campaign. I love the title, Share the Care. How did this get started and what's the main goal of it?
Yeah, that actually started up at Valley Humane up in Northern California in the Bay Area, and it became a national program that we love. And it really is talking to the community about help us out. You may not be ready to adopt, but maybe you can foster an animal for a couple weeks or a couple months. Maybe you can volunteer at an animal shelter. Obviously, we all need donations, and that's not just financial. We need towels and blankets and equipment and supplies. But really, I'll tell you, the number one thing that we would love from the communities that we are trying to help is to have them foster animals for us. Because first of all, we're out of room, and nobody wants to go back to the issues of shelters 20 years ago when there was euthanasia for space. And none of us are going to have to do that, but we do have a real difficult time with the number of animals, especially dogs that we've got. So fostering is a huge component of Share the Care.
Oh, I'm so glad that you said that because, yeah, I was going to ask you how people can help out animals with the shared care program. And so
Yep.
fostering is huge. It's a great way to help show these animals love and get them out of the shelters. And now that the holidays are approaching, do you normally see more pet adoptions around the holidays, or does it slow down this time of the year?
Well, this time of year, it does slow down overall. The summer is the busy season. That's our NFL playoffs. That's our World Series all summer long. Normally, it really comes down this time of year into the holiday season. There's a small uptick of about 4 to 5% increased adoptions in December because of the holidays. And we used to say don't buy a pet as a gift. We don't say that anymore. Actually, there's studies out from the ASPCA and others that pets that are given as gifts really stay in their homes, stay with their families just as long, if not longer, than pets that people decide to get on their own. But the only thing I would say is, by all means, think about a pet as a gift over the holidays, but make sure the recipient is part of that process and that it's not a surprise. Unless you have kids who have been asking you for a puppy for 9 years and you're finally going to get one for them. I don't think that's a risk at all. But definitely, pets over the holidays, wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Aw, and always get a friend. I always say adopt them in pairs.
Oh, I love that. I love
Yes,
that. Yes,
yes.
absolutely. Absolutely. Puppies, kittens, especially kittens, because that is your HBO. That is your cock streaming everything. To have two kittens that are together and growing up as best friends, that's your time to do it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Gary, talking about the best time to do it, like if you'd like to adopt a pet, and I believe from the San Diego Humane Society, what is the process?
We try to make it as easy as possible, and we're not different than a lot of progressive shelters throughout the United States. First of all, go online, see what pets we have online. They're all listed on there if they're available for adoption. Come down to visit if you want to do that as well. Our doors are wide open. We aren't doing it by appointment. We just ask the public to come in. But the best place to start is online, and bring your whole family into it. I think that's really it's the best bonding experience you can have. And honestly, there's nothing more fun than looking for your next best friend to come into your family. But online is the absolute best place to start.
Oh, and
Yeah,
you can
Quincy,
do
what are we
that.
going to get you? We're going to get you a couple new puppies.
You know what? My daughter wants one, and it's like we're still
There you
trying
go.
to figure out. Oh,
Perfect.
Quincy, just
perfect
do
Christmas
it. Now
gift.
is the time of year to do it. I would have more than 4 cats if my husband would allow that. But everything, this is great info. And you can use this, obviously, if you're in San Diego or at any other location shelter across the country. And quickly, before we go, how can our viewers learn more about Share the Care?
Share the Care. We have it's on our website, joinsharethecare.org, /sdhumane.org, and go and help your local shelter. The best thing you can do.
Thank you so much.
again, Doc.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, Cheryl, from looking at how to adopt to looking at how Arizona is managing their water, it's very interesting. Stick around. We'll tell you more up next. Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Now, Danielle show, you guys, I'm from Texas, right? So there's a drought. There's a drought that's a natural part of the climate in the Southwest. And the current drought, this is one for the record books, don't you think?
Yeah, sadly, the Southwest is experiencing the worst drought in more than 1,200 years, which makes water an even more precious resource.
Yeah, I've studied this a lot, you guys. And the Central Arizona Project, or CAP, delivers water to more than 80% of the state's population and has details about how they are managing every precious drop. Take a look.
The Central Arizona Project really is an engineering marvel. We start on the Colorado River in Lake Havasu City near the Arizona-California border, and through a series of 336-mile-long canal system, we bring water into central and southern Arizona. Along its journey, the water passes through 14 pumping plants to complete our mission delivering that water. We're very fortunate at CAP. We have a dedicated workforce that is their primary focus to maintain the reliability and efficiency of our system. In fact, we've been recognized by a number of industry experts as being world-class in our application of reliability-centered maintenance principles. We work hard to make sure that we're effective and efficient and have a reliable system for all of Arizona. The Central Arizona Project serves 3 counties in our service area. It's Maricopa, Pinal, and Pima counties. Primarily our water is used by cities as well as tribes and agriculture. Since 1985, the CAP has brought in an economic benefit of nearly $2 trillion from the use of that water. We continue to serve these 3 counties and all of the residents in Arizona that live there. The Central Arizona Project is governed by a 15-member board of directors. The board works with CAP and establishes some very important items like the rate of our water, the use of our taxes, and a number of other policy items that help govern the Central Arizona Project as we work to execute our mission. Another thing to mention is that because they're publicly elected, we have to comply with open meeting laws. So all of our meetings are open to the public, and residents who are interested can get on our website and see when our meeting times are and how to participate. For 2023, the United States Bureau of Reclamation has declared a Tier 2A shortage on the Colorado River. And what that really means for CAP in Arizona is that CAP will no longer have enough water to deliver to our agricultural customers. Our tribal partners and municipalities will continue to get the water that's been allocated to them. We know that there's much more that needs to be done to help protect the Colorado River from reaching critically low elevations, and the Central Arizona Project and a number of our partners are committed to taking those next steps. Regardless of the amount of water that we have to deliver, we'll deliver that full allocation to our water users across our 3-county service area. For anyone who wants to learn more about the Central Arizona Project, our system, our mission, or about the status of the Colorado River, can go to our website, knowyourwaternews.com.
Well, ladies, I don't know if you caught that. Over 300 miles of this water supply system. That's amazing.
It's so cool, and it's really needed in that part of the country. So it's good to see that.
Yeah, and you can find more information about the CAP system and Arizona's water supply at knowyourwaternews.com.
Absolutely. Well, don't go anywhere, because coming up on Main Street Living, a helping hand for veterans. Stay with us. Welcome back to Main Street Living. Danielle, Quincy, we've all heard the saying, freedom isn't free. And it's especially important to remember that as we commemorate Veterans Day this week.
Yeah, that's certainly correct, Cheryl. And while it's nice to have a stranger thank me for my military service, I served. I'm very proud for being able to serve. There are a lot of other veterans out there who could really use some additional support. Bob Maxwell, with the Voice of Veteran, is here to tell us more. Welcome to Main Street Living, Bob, and thank you for your service, man.
Well, thank you for your support, and thanks for letting me be here.
No problem. No problem. Now, of course, tell us how Voice of the Veteran got started, and you guys have accomplished a lot, but what were you hoping to accomplish?
Well, it started back in Michigan. I had to go back from Las Vegas, where I live, go back and take care of my dad. He fell and broke his hip, and we all know what happens after that. So I started there just to hear stories of the veterans, and because they got so much to say. Most of them don't like to talk, but once you get them going, you can't stop them. So we started with that, like a Veterans History Project, because the kids today, they don't really know Vietnam or Korean War, or, especially World War II. So that's how it started, and it morphed into what we're doing now. I made it a nonprofit, and good Lord, it's just taken off. We help people with their veterans with their disability claims.
Good.
Yeah. So, Bob, what would you say is the main mission of Voice of the Veteran?
Well, we're a 501c3 now, and we're a veterans media organization, a veterans outreach organization, and we're dedicated to the total enhancement of the life and lifestyle of veterans and their families. So whatever we can do, I mean, sometimes we make it up as we go on the fly, but it's there, and that's what we're doing. Very simple, not a sophisticated approach.
Yeah, like that's so cool, and like I know, like with veterans like such as myself, I decided to go the route of entrepreneur, right? And there's so many other directions that veterans can go. So what are some areas that you have found veterans need the most assistance in?
Well, the biggest thing is the day they get out of the service, the minute they drive out that gate, they're like, what do I do now? We both have experienced that, right?
Yeah.
And so what we want to do is we want to bring an awareness to the programs that are available to them. I get asked all the time, who do I talk to? Where do I go? Who can I call? So many of the phone numbers don't work, or that they're disconnected, or they're going to someplace else now. And so they get frustrated. The frustration level among veterans is huge. It's very big. There's some bases that offer great help, on the transition program from active duty to civilian life.
Mm-hmm.
But then there are some that don't, and they missed the boat on that. And the sentiment is, oh, you're leaving. I mean, you're not one of us now, and that's a shame. It really is. So yeah, that's where I see the biggest problem right now, and the biggest need is direction.
So, Bob, Voice of the Veteran is based in Las Vegas, but I know you mentioned you worked with people from all over. Do veterans need to live in the Las Vegas area to get help with your organization?
Absolutely not. We have members, or not members. I call them members. So we're all a big military family, right?
Yeah.
We have people we help that are all over the world, and we have one veteran service officer that actually has 20,000 people, veterans that he's helped, and they're all over the world. He was helping people the other day in Australia, American veterans living there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I go, where do you find the energy? This guy's 77 years old. He's like the Energizer Bunny on steroids. It's incredible. But
and still serving others.
Yeah. And here's the bottom line about us too. We don't charge a dime for what we do. No. I mean, because let's face it, there's a lot of veterans that are, they're homeless, they're jobless, they don't know what to do. They need that, not the hand out, but the hand up. And we want to get them there. And that's a great feeling when you're talking to a veteran and their family, or just a veteran by themselves, and they say, thank you, I got this job, or I'm not homeless anymore. Man, that hits you right here. And it's the great feeling of what we do.
Yeah, I like that. I like that saying, not a hand out, but a hand up. Yeah. And for the viewers that's watching, I mean, how are they able, or how can they honor veterans on Veterans Day?
On Veterans Day, well, on every day. I usually wear my hat, but I didn't wear it today. But it's my Air Force veteran hat, right? Mm-hmm. And if people see me, they say, thank you for your service. My response to them is not just, oh, well, thanks. No, it's thank you for your support. And you want to see somebody that just said that to you, thanks for your service, see them glow, say that to them. And, even though I'm a veteran, I've been places before, and I'll talk to veterans. So they'll come over to me and we'll sit down, and we're at a restaurant or whatever. I'll buy their meal. Yeah. I don't care what day of the week it is, because you hear their story, they need some help. I'm not saying go out and buy their meal, but thank them, be genuine, and you're make it a heartfelt thank you, because I was in during the last part of Vietnam, and I got to tell you, I have a lot of friends that were in Vietnam. Yeah, I didn't make it over there. I was one of the lucky ones, I guess you could say, and they say it too, that I was stateside. But I missed it by 5 days. We had orders to go there 5 days before we left. They canceled our orders. I never saw so many majors and captains and lieutenants or whatever crying because they were already over there and they didn't want to go. They would have gone. Oh yeah, we all would have gone. But they all say the same thing. You're lucky you didn't go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I lost cousins over there too, so it's rough. Gosh. Yeah.
Well, it's incredible what you've been able to do, especially when you don't charge anybody a dime. So obviously, I'm sure that you guys could use some support. How can viewers find more about Voice of the Veteran?
Well, they can go to our website, which is voiceofthevet.us.
And as a fellow veteran, again, thank you for what you've done and thank you for what you continue to do. We appreciate you, Bob.
Well, thank you, and thank you for your service too.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Oh, man. All right. Well, now that Kevin is all in the fields here, let's switch things up a little bit. Next, if you are looking to remodel your home, we got some tips for you.
Welcome back to Main Street Living. The holidays are just around the corner. I'm excited about that. And for many of us, that means we'll be entertaining family and friends. So we might be looking to upgrade our living spaces.
But Cheryl, before you go looking for a new home, consider that it might make more sense to possibly remodel your home.
That you're already in?
Yeah.
Yes. Murray Lampert, a San Diego family-owned design build remodeling company, shares what makes their modern design process so successful.
I always say that I have two bosses, my wife and my daughter.
So my great-grandfather, Murray Lampert, moved here from New York and started the business out of his apartment in La Mesa. Being family-owned and operated to our customers is really important. They get that feeling that we can relate to them and their families.
The company has come a long ways over the last 47 years. We've always been a design build company, but now we've taken design, not only our architectural, but interior design to a completely different level.
We have a really motivated team here at Murray Lampert, and we love to empower our group to take responsibility for their projects and their designs and really get excited about it.
Everybody here at Murray Lampert is very nice, very welcoming, very willing to help as well.
We have a very thorough process of design development, and it starts with a consultation on the job site, speaking with the customers and checking out all the existing conditions. And then we go into design development and have a site meeting with our team who does very accurate measurements.
They'll use things like drones, lasers, even LiDAR scanners to measure the house. And then after that, it'll come back to the office and they'll build an accurate as-built model of the house.
There's a lot of times where we have our interior designers collaborating back and forth. Even though we have our own jobs, we still like to bounce ideas off of each other.
The design team and myself will meet, we'll look at the as-built model, and we'll go over the recap of what the homeowner's looking for, and we'll sketch them out, and we'll meet as a team and figure out like what layout's gonna work best for the space. And then once we all agree that this is going to be a layout that's going to work best, then it'll go to the senior architectural designer to model that space.
Of course, they're coming to us too for our expertise to say, will this work, do you think? Or how could we incorporate something like that? And a lot of the times we can, because we want to make the clients happy. That's at the end of the day, that is our main goal and our drive, is to make them happy.
It is a complex process, and it is something that we do all the time, and the people who come to us have a lot of time never done this before, and so we make sure that we put it in bite-sized pieces and guide them through it so that they can follow along and are involved in the process while still feeling like they can relax and have us do the heavy lifting.
I touch customers, Rachel does, and Lisa does too, and that attention and the feeling that people get from that is we want to really protect. Everyone understands the mission and everybody talks the same way because it's the same mission that everybody has in this company, and that's to make a customer happy with us. At Murray Lampert, together we create home.
Oh, I love what they said about breaking things down into small pieces so people can go step by step with them. That's so helpful. And you can find more about the services that Murray Lampert can provide on their website, murraylampert.com.
Guys, straight ahead, more of Main Street Living. Stay right there.
Welcome back in one last time to Main Street Living. Another great show in the books, guys. And I don't know about you, but I was really grateful to get that extra hour of sleep this last week with daylight saving switching over, even though I know it's unfortunate that it's getting dark earlier.
Yes, give me the sleep.
Well, even though the times have fallen back, I believe, you can always catch our show on our Cox Contour app.
Definitely. And we have new episodes of Main Street Living Mondays, 9 p.m. local time. So make sure you join us then as we take another stroll down Main Street.